Hey, welcome everybody. This is a podcast that explores various aspects of addiction, intentionally focusing on personal stories of recovery, scientific perspectives, social impacts, and relative and related topics. This podcast often features discussions with experts, individuals in recovery, therapists, and advocates to offer insights and support to those affected by addiction or seeking more information about it. Welcome to another episode of The Other Side of Addiction. I am your host, Al Richards, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about actualized recovery with our return guest, the Kennys. We got Dave and Susan Kenny from Canada. Guys, thank you so much for being back on the show.
Hey, Al, thanks for having us back. It was such a good conversation. We're really looking forward to continuing.
No, let's be honest. Susan's not done talking. That's why you had to.
Is that what it was? All right.
She's got more to say.
I didn't want to share that because I didn't want to get in trouble. I want to stay on Susan's good side.
I love the statement of on the other side of addiction, because we actually, all of our work is focused on recovery.
Yeah.
And actually the word recovery means to, if you think about it, get it out of addictions for a minute. The definition of recovery is to get something back I've lost. And if that's what it is for somebody, and we focus on the solution, getting something back, getting myself back, getting my family back, getting my pride back, getting my health back. If that's something that motivates people, man, are we going to have a great conversation today?
Yeah, well, I already know we're going to have a great conversation because the first show that we did just about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, my gosh, it's going by so quick, but it wasn't that long ago. It was an amazing show. I mean, I could have sat down and spoke with you guys for another hour, easy on what we spoke about.
Well, I'm looking forward to today. So what do you got?
Well, right around the end of the show last time, you were talking about the book, and I believe that's your book there in the background about actualized recovery. However, we never really got an opportunity to speak about what that actually means.
There you go. There's the book. It's better than my face, so I'll leave it there. So what's it mean, Susan?
So actualized recovery is a methodology that over 12 years of working and living with people, we started to notice that there were patterns, and we started to know that there were ways that people were acting that when we were able to influence that, they had magnificent change. So actualized recovery became our methodology, and we created 5 principles within that methodology. And really it's about being brain first, but it's looking at areas of physical in the body, areas of psychology, areas of spirit, connection, and tying it all in with a lifestyle that is focused on today and moving forward, not on your past.
I love that because too many of us live in our past, right? We drag that freaking ball and chain with us continuously.
Right.
Well, this is a unique approach. Actualized recovery. First of all, the word actualize means to make it real. So let's make our recovery real. And again, we've already talked recovery, which is getting something back. So we focus on today and the future. Yes, we have to have an understanding about what's happened, but we don't have to dive into it. And we can tell you why brain-wise it's a bad thing. But actualized recovery is the brain first approach to lasting recovery. Think of that for a minute. It's a brain first approach and to lasting recovery. And we can talk about how we ended up in the world of neuroscience and how we've helped 2,000 people with this.
Wow. Well, let's talk about it then.
All right, let's talk about that. I like this.
All right.
My understanding and our research shows, first of all, there is no single definition in the world of an addiction. There's none. That there's a whole group of people that say it's a brain disease, and and those are more medical type people, okay. And there's another group of people that say it's a brain disorder. Well, those are more people more in psychology, okay. So that fits their model, anxiety disorder, and all the disorders they have. So that fits their model. But the one commonality is not disease or disorder. The one commonality is brain. Everybody relates it to brain. It is not
Mhm.
the liver. The liver gets punished, but it's not the liver that's craving things. It's not the heart. It's not the lungs. It sure isn't our wallet that's craving these things.
Mhm.
And it's the brain that is looking for relief from pain, and will do things that create negative consequences that hurt us, and just seeking relief. So if the brain is involved, and if the brain is driving it out, let's fix the brain. And that's
Right.
what we do.
So
And we
basically,
teach other people how to do it.
Yes.
So this is what we're so pumped about now, Al, is COVID was the greatest gift for us. COVID had us shutting down our residential program, which we run for over a decade. And we had to really step back and go, okay, how can we take everything that we learned and turn that into something that is meaningful, purposeful, and helps the world? And here we are a couple of years after. Here's one of the things that is significant is everybody thought after COVID passed that we were all going to feel amazing, right? It was going to be like the roaring 20s. Everything was going to we were going to be so grateful to come back and everything. It's the exact opposite. We are still living in fear. The world is still in crisis,
yes.
and people are still reeling from the emotional and physical effects of the shutdowns. So we have more people that are at risk right now. We have more people that want to commit suicide than ever before. The World Health Organization said that is going to be the leading cause of death within the next few years.
I
And
believe it.
yeah, so we need to do something about it. So
Well-
that's where we came from.
Well, also, beginning of COVID, Susan was tired of looking at me, so she said, "Let's find a project." So we started the book. So it's been a couple-year project, and it is deep in
Yeah.
research, but it's written in common language. So in the book actually tackles a couple myths in this
Mhm.
world of recovery
Mhm.
or addiction, and and one of the myths that it tackles and pulls apart is that I am powerless. Al, you're powerless. You're powerless, Al. Give it up. No, you're not. You are powerful, and we explain that we are
Right.
all powerful. A victim will say I'm powerless because then I absolve myself of responsibility and accountability. But I have power in my choice.
Right.
Here's the difference. If somebody does a line of cocaine, if somebody has the first glass of wine or a shot of whiskey, if somebody goes to Vegas, pulls a slot machine once, or looks at the tables once, they may become powerless like that. Bam. Okay, I'll give you that. I've never heard of somebody do one line of cocaine and walk away. It's a gong show after that. And so the question isn't them. The question is what led you to the party with the cocaine? What led you to Vegas where the casino is? What led you to put yourself in those places? That's where your choice is. And that's where your power is. So you're not powerless. And we teach this in the book and show people how to make better choices.
And that's the research. So there's all
Mhm.
of this amazing work which we uncovered when we were researching for the book, Al. There's a lot of things that we can do behavior wise. So people talk about have positive feelings, right? And just your thoughts will somehow miraculously somehow change everything. Well, it's not true, but our behavior does.
Yes.
And so that's why physical is number one. You physically have to get up and do something different. And so when you look at the physiology drives psychology, we have embedded in the book and we have embedded in our courses how to do this. This isn't a sit back and read this information this is actionable steps that you can do to actually change your physiology, which then changes the brain, which then changes everything that you do. But it starts with action, not just a thought process.
What I love about hearing all this stuff, it's just not those who are battling addiction.
Mm-mm.
This is for everyone.
Everyone.
So one of our favorite bands right now, For King and Country. They're from Australia. They've lived most of their life in
Nashville,
Nashville,
Tennessee.
Tennessee. These guys are a Christian rock, Christian pop band. They got some great songs. There's a song called "Burn the Ships." If
Mhm.
you've never heard it, anybody, go listen to it. It's in our book as well. And the background of this song is one of the two leads, they're brothers. They were on tour, got a call from his wife. So they're affluent, they're famous, they're doing well in life. She's at
Mhm.
home, she's pregnant, she's seen a doctor, she's having complications in her pregnancy. The doctor
She has
puts her
morning
on,
sickness.
he puts her on a pain pill, which turns out to be an opioid. Uh-oh, guess what?
Hmm.
So the doctor's doing his best. I'm not judging a doctor right now,
Mhm.
but she calls her husband, one of the band leaders. He's on tour, says, I need help.
need you.
She identifies that she's struggling, and the pills now are running her life
Yeah.
instead of just giving her pain relief. So, and I'm not telling a story that's out of, there's a whole thing, you can find it online. The
They've
whole
been
song is
very,
about
very
open.
open about it because she wants to change the face of addiction.
Wow.
She knows that sharing her story is going to help the stigma. And so it's an important story to hear because we think of addicts as street people with the needle hanging out of their arm. They've OD'd multiple times. You've had to use the paddles to bring them back. That is
So,
not the
so
face of addiction.
I want to wrap up the story real quick. They do treatment and do a bunch of things. And one day he walks into the bathroom and she's pouring her pills and tablets down the toilet. She says, I have to get rid of them. They got to leave the house. Well, that's a pretty standard thing, but it made him think about the story of the Spanish coming over to America and the captain turning and saying, take the ships and burn the ships. So there's no excuses. There's no going back. And where there's
The
only
only
one way
option.
direction is going forward. And that's what she was doing. And he's written a song about this called Burn the Ships. It is an incredible song, and I encourage everybody to watch or listen to it. So Susan's right. Here's a fact for you. We heard about this about a year and a half ago. 90% of Americans who are struggling with any form of addiction, any form, a behavioral addiction, shopping, gambling, whatever it is,
Social, whatever it is.
yeah, social media, 90% of Americans who are struggling do not get treatment.
Mhm.
And this book and our coaching program are all designed to help people move forward in life, to burn the ships and move forward.
I love that analogy about burning the ships. I mean, I
Yeah.
I really do. What a great way of saying it, right? Because I mean, it literally opened my eyes and my brain going, "Oh my gosh, yeah, what other choice now do you have? You
Right.
either sit there and wallow in your BS and cry that the ships are burnt, or you do something about it and you start going a different direction." And I love what you said even about addiction, because I've said on the show many times, addiction doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care what religion you're from, doesn't care what color your skin is, doesn't care if you're rich, poor, middle class. It does not give a crap, period. It nails us all. None of us are immune to it at all.
So the numbers show about 36% of all lawyers in America
Mhm.
could be considered substance abuse users with alcohol. So more than 1 in 3.
Mhm.
Now there's a highly educated, highly motivated, highly disciplined audience, men and women who have gone to school and done well, who are struggling with a substance.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's I got a brother who's a lawyer. I'm not taking a shot at lawyers. That's another, we can have some jokes on that later.
Yeah.
This is just to bring perspective
Mhm.
that 90% of people, the moms at home with stress, the roofer who comes home, the doctor,
Mhm.
the lawyer, the fireman, it doesn't matter. You're right.
Right.
It doesn't
It's
discriminate.
it's the young adult that was prescribed medications for a learning disorder when they were young, and now they're addicted to stimulants later in life because that's what the brain got used to.
Yeah, and that's what they need, right? And I'm finding that too much happening, right? I mean, kids are kids, they're hyper. And it seems like that they're giving them Ritalin at the age of 4 or 5 now because they're being kids.
Which changes the brain,
Yeah,
right?
So
exactly.
And which then changes behavior.
here's the great opportunity that we're all identifying. And I'm sure people listening are nodding their heads. Here's the opportunity. The greatest number one in demand
Mhm.
coaching profession, coaching niche right now in the world is crisis and recovery coaches. It is the number one most
Yeah.
in demand, and it's the number one less served. So there's this huge pool of life coaches, which we started out many years ago,
Mhm.
being a life coach. First of all, what is that? And what is it? What do you do? And are you actually trained and certified to help somebody in a real crisis? Because actually, a life coach is
Mhm.
to be involved to avoid crisis, not to work people through it.
Right.
So the number one opportunity that we're identifying right now, remember, 90% don't get any treatment. And the number one most served, and meaning the least amount of coaches, is crisis and recovery coaches.
Mhm.
So there's a massive opportunity for people to create a career, to have an impact on your communities and people, and to live a life of freedom. So that's one of our missions, is to put more coaches out there in the world.
Well, and
There's a
that's oh,
motivational
Susan, go ahead.
speaker.
Go ahead, Susan.
No, but there's a motivational speaker. His name is Brian Tracy. And he says, if you're not currently in a crisis, and if you're not recovering from something catastrophic, it's coming, right? That's the cycle of life.
Yeah.
And so being trained, learning the skills to be able to help yourself, your family, and create a business of people coming from crisis into recovery is kind of a no-brainer, because we're all there. We're at different cycles, but it's we all know it's happening. I Boxing Day, December 26th, I had great plans for how my life was going to go. And then I had a little incident and fell and missed a step and I broke my foot. So that's crisis, right? But we manage it differently because we know the steps to go through the crisis and jump into the recovery. And what we're really, really good at is we lived with and breathed this for more than a decade, which I don't think anybody else has done, Al. I don't think anybody else in this world has lived with people and seen this cycle. And that's why we're passionate about teaching coaches.
Well, that's why you guys went through that cycle, right? So you
Right.
can do this. And I want to get into this master class.
Yep.
However, how can, I mean, people that are listening to this right now and maybe they got to hurry and run, I want them to know how they can find you guys. How can they get more
Yeah.
information?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love that. So the name of our company is Emergo Academy. It's on the screen. Emergo is actually, its Latin word, means to emerge or rise above, which we want to do with addiction issues and recovery issues. So it's spelled Emergo, Emergo Academy.com. And if you go to emergoacademy.com, you're going to see all sorts of free groups. We've created a community. Probably half of the things we do are free. And our book's now available, and it's going to be amazing. It comes out in February, but it is available for pre-order. If you join the master class, you get a sneak peek at the book. Al, you get the first 2 chapters free, so you can kind of begin to grasp what this is all about. But you can reach us and find the master class. If you're interested in becoming a coach, there's a button there. If you just want to join a recovery group, that's there. If you want to do a 5-day challenge, that's there. So it's at Emergo Academy, Emergo Academy.com.
Okay, and that master class is February 8th,
Mhm.
and it starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which
Eastern
here
time.
of our listeners who are on Mountain Time, that's noon. However, I know a lot of you guys who are interested in coming to this, they're working, it's recorded, so you can always go in and listen to it and still ask questions.
So the
100%.
first thing to do is sign up for the master class, or just sign up for the 8-week coaching certification course. We can talk about that in a minute. But if you sign up and register for the master class and you're working, or you plan to be there and life happens, something happens, kids get sick, or there's a snow day and you can't do it, that's okay. Because about a third of the people who join us actually watch the recording and join
Right.
us. They don't watch it live. It's like us recording it, but we're going to do it and do it live. But if you can't make it, that's totally cool. And you've got a period of time after the 8th, a couple days to sign up, if you want to watch that and make that good. So let me tell you about the master class.
Okay.
It's free. It's 90 minutes of the same stuff we're talking about, but we really dive into the presentation a little bit deeper.
Mhm.
And we explain a little bit more about the number one coaching niche. And ultimately, what we want to help people understand is it truly the heroic impact, and I'm not overstating it, the heroic impact you can make as a recovery coach, and the freedom in your life that you create. Think of that for a minute. The freedom in your life is financial, because people will pay you because you're helping them through a crisis.
Mhm.
Location freedom, meaning you don't have to be in Salt Lake or San Diego, you can be anywhere. And then time freedom, meaning you get to schedule when your meetings are. And so the freedom for you as a coach is immense and massive. We enjoy it. We love the lifestyle. And I love making an impact on people. And it's not just the individual, it's their whole family that you're
Mhm.
impacting.
There's
Yeah.
a couple of things we're going to share too, Al. We teach very differently. We teach using models, and the human brain thinks in pictures, and we actually change while doing. So most of our teaching isn't actually just wah, wah, wah. Like we're not putting slides up. We're not taking you through. You don't have to remember it. We're going to walk you through visual models. You're going to participate in it. And at the end of that masterclass, I guarantee you, you're going to come off that masterclass. You are going to be able to help a friend, help a family member,
Help yourself. Yeah.
It is going to change you, because we're going to share one of our models on that class. And it is going to be a powerful model for change.
And you guys are doing this for free. I mean, how
Mm.
can someone not want to take 90 minutes out of their day, out of their evening, to want to do this class? Because to me, it's sounding extremely powerful. And it's stuff I can take away after that 90
Yep.
minutes
Absolutely. You're going to
and
walk
help
away
someone.
with
Here's
tools.
here's what's going to happen. We'll give you an invitation to join us at the end of it, but it's an invitation. Here's what we really want to do in 90 minutes: have a class and teach some nuggets to make an impact on people's lives. If it resonates with you and you want to join one of our groups, or you want to become a coach, great. But if it doesn't, we want to make an impact on people. So that's what the 90 minutes is about. Come and learn about this and see if it fits for you. And here's why. Anybody listening to your podcast right now, everybody right now
Mhm.
listening to your podcast has a personal connection to recovery, or a personal connection to the pain of addiction.
Right.
All right.
There's a lot of people not listening to this podcast because it has no interest for them,
Mhm.
right? It doesn't factor into their lives. But if you're drawn to learn about recovery, and you're drawn to learn about addictions, and you're on Al's podcast right now, it means that you have something that is a calling for you.
Mm.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm hearing the calling. I can hear a whisper in the distance.
Well,
Oh,
it becomes
ow.
personal.
Right.
It becomes real. It becomes
Right.
personal. In other words, there's a reason, whether that's a pain related reason or a solution oriented reason. There's a reason why people have drawn to you to help them through their lives. And with that personal story, bring that to the
Mhm.
master class, and let's look at that a little bit deeper and see. And we'll begin to show you how actually life happens for you, not to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we're going to show you as a coach how you get to teach that to people who don't, because there's so many people who don't believe that. We're going to teach you how to give people, here's what that word is: hope. And with
Mhm.
hope comes amazing potential and possibilities. So if you're connected to this world of recovery,
Right.
if you're interested in it, stop in February. Go to our website, Emergo Academy, EMERGO Academy.com. Check us out, and you can make appointments with us. You can reach us, or just sign up for the masterclass.
So Dave, where do they find that once they pull up that website? Is there something, is there
Oh,
like a spot where it says masterclass or something
yep,
like that on
Yes.
there?
yep. So
Okay.
probably about halfway down. So you'll see a little video from us about the whole community. Then you'll see an opportunity to join a newsletter or something else, and then comes the programs. So we made it very close to the top, and the programs are our 5-day challenge, our meetups. But one of the programs you'll see is masterclass.
Mhm.
Sign up for the masterclass February 8th. Come and hang out with us.
Okay.
Heck, sign up for anything that you want. So each of these programs will have, like, if you're interested in a 5-day challenge, go, what's that? Click on it and you'll learn more.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
we do too, Al. Here's the evolution of this and what I'm so absolutely proud about. So when we ran the recovery program, it was a private program. It was paid for by the individual or by their family. And because there was a cost to it, not everybody could attend. And it broke my heart, Al, for over a decade to answer that phone call and talk to somebody who was in need. And then at the end, have to say, well, here's our costs, right? We had a team of up to 26 people. They like getting paid. We had food costs, we had everything. And now with technology, we can offer our wisdom for free. And we weren't in a position to do that before. And
Come on, what's your 1 million wish right now?
okay, so here's
Come
our
on.
wish is that we train 1,000 crisis and recovery coaches, and then we help them and support them to work with 1,000 people each. And that's over 1 million people that collectively we impact.
2 years, buddy. In 2 years.
Yeah.
Want
Wow.
to hit this out of the
Yeah.
park. So part of the coaching, so many life coaching programs, say, do this, and then let you go. They don't give you the
Right.
business part of it, which you can be the best teacher, you can be the best doctor. If no patients come to you, what are you doing? It's the same thing here. You can be the best recovery coach. We've broken our course down into giving you the business stuff.
Yeah.
And I will pump my own tires here for a minute, because Susan never pumps my tires. I got to pump my own tires here. I got an email yesterday from somebody a professor, a doctor, and a PhD guy in Canada, who was asked. He's invited me as a special guest to lecture to their students
Yeah.
in health and wellness on the business and sales and the
Right.
marketing and how to build a
So
business.
it's a coach training, and I'll pump your tires. You
Oh, I
used
like
to be on
this.
the board.
Yeah, well,
And they actually asked Dave to be on the board. He had to step away because
Because of
of
this.
writing the book and putting our online community on.
So he asked me yesterday if I would just record a series of business marketing sales videos to
Right.
use a kind of an evergreen for their students to help them, and they can watch it again. They can watch it now anytime if they can't see it live. So we do the same model. And because I know this space, and you and I have lived it and know it for a decade, we will teach you how to attract clients and show you how to
Yeah.
do that.
Wow. What an incredible thing you guys are doing. And I'm not saying that just because you're on my show and I'm trying to butter your toast, I mean, seriously, this that's the first time I've used that. It just came to me. I don't know where
I've never heard.
I've never heard of it
I
either.
thought it was like a Salt Lake phrase.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
Toast.
I'll make it a Salt Lake phrase. Yeah, I don't know where it came from. Anyway, that's why I started laughing about it. I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
Get a T-shirt. I'm not
There'll be-
trying to butter your toast.
Yeah.
There'll be
I'm not
somebody
trying to
that's
butter
listening
your
to it that said today, if this is the right thing for me, let me hear the phrase butter my toast.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. I
Yeah.
don't know.
And they'll be going, all right, this is it. I
I'm
need to sign
down.
up. This is the sign I was waiting for.
I love it.
That's just I see. Here's part of recovery. Is exactly what just happened in the last 30 seconds. Part of recovery is living life and laughter and
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is part of our program. And it is absolutely critical. And it actually covers two of the areas in our book, which we will teach to our coaches too. You've got to have that connection and have a laugh. What the heck is life for? And I actually don't need a substance to have a great time.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's freedom. I believe recovery is true freedom. And I believe relying on a substance or a behavior is like a chain. It's like a shackle. And it really is that holds me back in life. So I offer this for people looking for greater freedom in their own life.
And this is for people who are looking for a tribe
Mm.
of uplifting, great, deep conversation. There is no victim showing up. We're not an online community that is going to cater to this is the terrible things that happened in my past. I am powerless. None of that. This is leveraging science, leveraging the power of the brain, understanding how traumas can work through the physical body, and you can get to the other side. And when you do that, there is no craving for stuff. Right. So that's what we're going to be working through. And there's a couple of other myths that we're going to blow up. One is that it's genetics. No, it's not. Whatever addiction, whatever challenge you're having, yes, your eye color is determined by your genes, but other than that, 10% of things are determined genetically. We have dominion over 90%. So even if you had, let's say you had a cancer gene, you can overcome it with lifestyle. And what we've created is a lifestyle that helps people through recovery and then to soar.
Well, I'm going to shorten it. It has been shown in neuroscience that addiction is not a genetic issue. There's no gene that's ever been identified, ever.
It was a good theory.
But it is the brain driving choice, and it being in a dysfunction state,
Right.
and seeks relief. And we can get into trauma that does all that. But here's another myth for you. The phrase "I am blank"
Right.
are two of the most powerful words in the English rhetoric. To say I am broke, I am a loser, I am an alcoholic.
The words that follow I am follow you.
Right.
Oh,
Boom.
good one.
I like that.
Okay, I love that, Al.
So that steals my power.
Right.
So we don't get into labels. You'll never see I may refer to the word an addict in a descriptive, but I don't believe anybody is. I believe everybody is in pain, seeking relief, seeking help. They're and yet, if in the darkness of those mornings or those evenings, when they're going, oh my God, I did it again, and I promised myself. If that's you, please come and check us out in February. Come to the website, join a group. Come to emergoacademy.com and hang out with us, and you'll learn there is hope beyond having to label yourself.
Absolutely, because I don't agree with the label stuff. I mean, I really I didn't. I mean, it took me a little while of going to AA meetings with my ex-wife, then wife, right? To where I remember telling her on the way home, like, it's your call, but I really wish you wouldn't get up there and say, "Hi, I'm so and so, and I'm an alcoholic," because I says you haven't drank in a month, so you're not an alcoholic, right? Why are you labeling yourself as an alcoholic? Because you're not right now.
So
And so she changed it to where, "Hi, I'm so and so, I'm in recovery." So she
There you
completely
go.
changed it to a different way.
I talked to a fellow the other day, and he said, sometimes I'll attend an AA meeting because a friend of mine will ask. And he said, it really throws him when I would stand up and say, "Hi, my name is so and so. I am a recovered alcoholic." And he said it really, flustered some feathers, but he said, "I'm not going to say it anymore for the same reason you just said, is I'm not.
Yeah.
I haven't had a drink. This is not my deal anymore. My life has moved on, and I'm not going to say that anymore."
Yeah. And I love to hear where people are starting to see that, right? And they're starting to
Right.
grasp it. And I love what you guys are all about. Definitely getting into the brain first. Because again, my the way I look at it, that's where it starts, right? My version. I'm working on getting rid of the word my belief because the word lie is in there. So I'm changing it to my version. My version is this is where it starts is right here. This is what causes us to make the choices that we choose to do.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah. And
So
it's oh go ahead.
you're saying the same thing. The
Yeah.
brain drives behavior, and it does.
Yeah.
So Al, Susan's got a couple secrets. She likes secrets.
Okay.
So here's the first one. I want to talk to.
Hold it. This is at the master's class. She's going to tell you these 3 secrets in the master class.
Yeah, we're going to introduce these. So the one secret is about how to make 6 figures in 6 months. We can teach that because we did it. So we started literally from nothing. Within 6 months, we were making 6 figures in this business. And we had no background. We were not therapeutic. We're not psychologists. We weren't.
We're educators.
We're
That's our
educators,
that's our
and
background.
that's how it happened. But we had an idea, and it took off, and we want to share that in the masterclass. So if somebody is interested in this becoming a monetizing business, we got that for you. If people want to use this as a volunteer position, great. But if this is how you want to make your living, what a noble career this is.
Yeah. Helping people, right?
Mhm. Like
How,
really
how
here's-
amazing is that?
So there's 6 figures in 6 months. Another secret is heroic impact. I'll give you a quick story. Worked with a guy. He was an owner of a CrossFit gym, and he was a male model. The gals were very happy about this, and he was a great guy, but he was struggling with substance use issues and substance abuse issues.
for many, many, many years.
So after a little while, they ended up staying the only time over Christmas. There was 4 guys that just said, I don't want to go home. There's nothing to go home to.
Yeah.
So we had Christmas with them, and
We stayed open for Christmas, let our staff take 3 days off, and we stayed here with these 4 awesome guys.
and then New Year's came, and they went out for a midnight snowshoe.
Yeah.
Ended up being at 10 o'clock at night, but that's okay. We call it the midnight snowshoe.
Yeah.
So January 1st comes around the next morning, and I'm with them, and he says, the best New Year's I've ever had in my life. So well, tell me more. He said, well, we were out and it was chilly, but it was fresh, and the snow,
Yeah.
and big moonlight. We could see everything. We had a ball. And he said, Dave, it's the first New Year's that I actually remember since I was 15 years
Yeah.
old. And he was in his mid to late 30s. And then he was coming up to his brother's wedding, and he was the best man, and he was supposed to put on the stag. He goes, I don't want to
Yeah.
be part of this because I know it's going to be a gong show. So, well, what do you want? He said, well, I really want to create a memorable time with my brother. What can you do? So he ends up thinking about it. He phones me after he leaves, calls me back, tells me he took his brother to a cabin somewhere, and they spent a weekend alone in the woods.
Yeah.
And he said, and no alcohol, no booze, no silliness. And his brother thanked him at the end of it, saying it was the best thing he'd done in years. And the 2 brothers were connected. That is impact, folks. And as a coach, you get to be part of that journey in helping people make these choices in the life. And then they're going to call you back probably.
Can I finish?
Yeah,
this?
you go ahead.
So Dave and I were in a
Oh,
hotel room.
I forgot this.
5 years later, and we're watching this show, and there's a commercial that comes on, and I'm looking at it, and I said, Dave, like, you need to pause that. That's him.
And it was him. And he got back from his
And
gig. And
yeah, and he looked amazing. So there's no doubt that years later, everything was still
rocking into
yeah,
one.
he was
But-
rocking
But
it.
again, there's the impact. We've had so many people who have sent us pictures of babies and
Yeah.
who when they first came to us before our coaching and our program were going to get divorced, where the plan was to get divorced, the family was done, and 2 years later they're sending us pictures. They've bought a new home. That is impact, people. And
Yeah.
as a recovery coach, you get that. So when I say heroic impact,
Mhm,
you have that opportunity to do that. Susan's talked about 6 figures
mhm.
in 6 months. And then I wish I had the picture out. Susan's favorite picture. She was on a beach in the British Virgin Islands
True story.
on a phone, helping a family through
True
a
story.
crisis.
I just gotten a pedicure out, which probably doesn't mean anything to you guys, but the female listeners will understand. Sitting in a beautiful big papasan chair and looking out at the ocean and on the phone and doing my job.
She was literally 15 feet from the water
Mhm,
and could talk because there was nobody around.
mhm.
So that's the freedom that you also have if you
Mhm.
want as a coach. So come to the masterclass. I'm going to be shameless here, Al. Emergo Academy, EMERGO Academy.com.
I love it. Well, for our listeners, I'm just gonna let our listeners know I'm signing up. I'll be there on the master class. So yeah, whatever subliminal stuff you were doing, it worked. Right? I'm on.
We are such open books. The only agenda here is to help as many people globally as we can. It's like when you
And we need to
discover,
build a team
Mhm,
of people like you, Al, and your listeners. We need to build a team to reach 1 million people. And we're committed to helping you. We'll be creating a whole page for our certified coaches to be listed on like a database for, so if somebody's struggling and they want to pick a coach, they can go to this registrate, kind of a,
Yeah.
I don't know, what would you call it? We've been talking about it, a
Kind of like a
registration.
directory, right?
A directory of all our coaches. And so we're going to help our coaches build their business and make an impact.
I like what you said earlier too, Dave. This isn't, for us, it's about building relationships. And this isn't 8 weeks and you're done. This is having a community. We all get to, when you're coaching with somebody and you have challenges coaching with your client, we need to have a community where you can come back and have resources. So this is the Coaches Club will have its own community so that we all grow and learn. And it gives us the opportunity to share information every week that's going to make you a better coach.
I love it.
Mm.
So when you
Thank
become when you become certified, it's an 8-week program. Then you can hang out with us for
Yeah.
in the coaches club, and it's got weekly and monthly meetings, including Ask Us Anything meeting.
Yeah.
So that's part of the connection and support long term.
And people can use the certification pretty much anywhere, right? Like you guys are
There
in
are
Canada, I'm in
so
the
many
States.
places.
That's
Well,
why it's called internationally,
Well,
right?
Right.
we are internationally, and so we have an accreditation where we are recognized education providers through NADAC in the United States, and NADAC is the largest association of addiction professionals, and that qualifies people to get professional CEUs. So there are therapists, psychologists, social workers that need that. Come and do this because you can then apply for credits through NADAC. So we're accredited there as education providers. And there's international, it's on our website, international. I should remember this. I just was there today on the website. It's a coach certification or coach accreditation program out of the UK that accredits our teachings and learnings. And actually our teachings and learnings were accredited by a private university in the US. We pulled away just because of their fees. They wanted extra fees and things, but academically we were approved through them. So this isn't a Cracker Jack box program. This is a legitimate program. We are taking 12 years of experience and health and psychology and neuroscience, food science,
lived practicum.
And we're going to teach you how to be the most incredible, powerful coach you could ever imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I love it because, like you guys said earlier in the show, it's needed right now. I mean, it's really needed worldwide, in all honesty, really, not just Canada, the United States. It is worldwide.
Right.
Here's our coaching program. I just thought of this story in our last class. We had she was a fitness coach and wanted to become a recovery coach herself and was in recovery herself. And about week 3, so she's never coached anybody. She ends up on a different Zoom call with a different group of people. And she's asked to do some recovery coaching out of nowhere. They haven't trained her. They haven't done anything. They said, okay, I'm going to partner you up with Sally over here, and we're going to go through this life experience and you're going to coach for 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And she's told us a story. She panicked and then reached right over here for the models that Susan's talking about.
She had brought her notes from our class.
And she went through the golden questions that we teach you and walked this woman through a model. 30 minutes, we're done. And the woman was in tears at times and laughing at times, and they're done. And now the person watching all of this, the teacher, turned to her and said, turned to her on Zoom and said, oh, well, obviously you've been doing this for 10 years. And she went, no, this is the first client I've ever coached in my life.
True story.
So that's the blueprint. Like if you follow the blueprint,
we make it so easy, Al, you cannot mess it up.
You guys done all the work.
Yeah. And here's,
blueprint.
If you've ever wondered, who makes a good coach, and we'll go over this on the masterclass. I'm going to have a checklist that people can say, yes, 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 that's me. So if it's a good career for you. But we had to get this through to our students quickly. Being a coach does not mean you have all the answers. Being a great coach means you have all the best questions and that you have the skill set to be able to help that person really get to know themselves. So you are the mirror in a world where we don't often pause and actually hear what we're saying and intrinsically take something in. The coach has such a unique role because it's neutral and you hear deeply what people are saying and you're able to mirror it back to them in such a kind, compassionate, and loving way that when you do that, it changes everything in a moment. You can literally change somebody's life in a moment by
Well,
just
in one
listening.
question,
Yeah.
All right. So there you go.
Right.
There you have it. Al,
I love it. I love it. And I'm so glad that we had you guys come back. And I'm so glad that you guys were willing to come back. And I'm glad we buttered some toast and pumped up some tires during
I'm
this.
glad you're coming. I'm excited. We got one person coming to the master
Right here,
class,
baby.
Dave.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I will definitely get signed up. You'll see my name on there. So it's definitely happening.
Well, we look forward to seeing you and we look forward to meeting a lot of people.
and Al, we really appreciate, the opportunity to visit with you again, hang out. We support what you do so much. Any of the listeners, come to emergoacademy.com. There's also a place at the bottom of that. If you want to set an appointment, you get to talk with Susan or myself. Usually it's Susan. And, but set an appointment if you want to chat or join a group or come to the masterclass February 8th or watch the recording. Because again, about a third of our students only get to us by the recordings.
And this is live and interactive, so there'll be a chat feature. If you have questions, if you think of questions.
Oh, how much does it cost? Oh yeah, that's free.
Yeah, it's zero. Zero, just your time. And we value your time too. So we start on time and we finish on time.
Oh yeah.
So I know online there's a lot of people who don't start right away. We start right away. As soon as the top of the hour, we're going.
It's going. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Guys, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate you too. And really thank you for having TJ reach out to me, and say that you guys are interested in coming on the show. That always means a lot to me when that happens. And it makes me feel real good that people are out there seeing this show and listening and and what the best thing out of all of it is I get to have new friends from all over the world,
I was
right?
just thinking that. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you more and our next trip
Now,
to Salt Lake.
now
Oh yeah,
let's
baby.
imagine a whole tribe of people like us.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm. I think you should just go and be a crisis and recovery coach, Al. Like I think that's
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Let's do this.
that's probably my new path, Susan. I mean, seriously, it's crazy. And I think I told you guys last time that I've had about 5 people or so lately, just in the last few weeks, they're talking about it, right? And the knowledge that I could to be able to help someone, because I get calls every once in a while or messages or texts where they're like, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something." And matter of fact, I just got one today. I just got one today from my buddy who he has a coworker and he says, "Hey, we got a coworker here that needs some serious help with alcohol." He goes, "I mean, serious. What do you suggest?" And I'm
And
like,
that's
does he
the
want to go
crisis
to
part.
IOP? Does he want to go to recovery? And he goes, "No, like he needs help, like right
Right
he's in
now.
bad
Oh,
shape." I'm like, "Okay, well, you need to get him to detox first, right? Let's get him to detox." And I mentioned some places where he could go. However, when I'm speaking with people, I speak very carefully because I don't have the training. I'm only going off of my knowledge. I'm going off of what I've learned from people like yourself and our other guests, and
Yeah.
especially when it's someone that's a parent, because that's a whole different ballpark, right?
Right.
I dealt with a spouse. I know how to deal with that part, some of it.
Yeah.
Don't know how to deal with a child. So I
it's
have to
not,
be
it's,
that
it's
very-
really fundamentally, it's no different.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, it's not. And fundamentally, how you deal with a 6-year-old and a 36-year-old fundamentally is not different. The execution of it is different,
Right.
which
And-
we
not-
will explain.
You're not the enabler. You're not the rescuer. Right. And that's what we're going to teach too.
So sorry, I'm sorry. Well,
love
you
it.
you introduced a couple things. I didn't properly fully answer a question earlier. Yes, you can even work at recovery programs, residential programs, day programs, outpatient programs. You
Wilderness
can work at
programs.
therapist's office.
Yeah.
You can work in hospitals. I know people it depends on each state, but I know people in Connecticut as recovery coaches are working in hospitals,
Yeah.
emergency rooms. I know that in other states as well. So we come from a place of entrepreneurs. We like to run our own coaching program and business. We've had a doctor, one of our graduates. She's leaving actually her doctor's practice. Check this
Yeah,
out.
she's giving up her medical practice to
And
be
she wants
full-time coach.
And she wants to create, but she wants to create a whole program where she integrates the best of all worlds to help people through crisis and recovery. So in other words, the opportunities are endless.
She was tired of being handcuffed through the medical system. She wants to create real change by spending more time with people and really taking them through the process of recovery.
All right, we gotta let Al go because we're gonna talk till we're gonna miss our supper. Gotta have our supper.
Yeah, well, God is reaching a lot of people right now. He really is. There's a big shift that's happening, and I love it. I really do love it because so many people need help out there. And I'm including myself in this, right? I'm just not throwing it out there as other individuals. I'm one of them that could use the help as well because this is only going to better my life.
That's
Right?
exactly right.
We are happy, and I can say that because of what we do. And
Yeah.
so the best way to learn is to teach. And the best way to live it yourself is to become the coach. So when you're doing it day in and day out, it becomes so easy for you to do it because you're saying it over and over and over again.
Yeah. Amen.
Mhm.
Well, guys, thank you again. Thank you so much for being on the show and for everything that you guys are doing, all the people that you're helping, the lives that you are changing. And there needs to be more of us. And what you guys have in mind,
Let's do it.
yeah, I love it. I love it.
Recovery coach warriors. That's what we call our peeps.
I love it. Recovery
Let's do
Coach
it.
Warriors. Okay. Well, guys, again, thank you again. Hey, thank you to all our listeners and all our guests. Guys, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for you. I really, really appreciate y'all. And remember, addiction is giving up one thing for everything, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. Or did I say that right? I might have even messed up my own tagline. Remember, addiction is giving up
Wait,
everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.